Ladies and gentlemen of AML Wrestling, it is I, the King of WrestleCade, the main event every year, the one star, the AML champion, Brad Attitude. And now as we're embarking on the biggest weekend of the year, WrestleCade weekend, and the AML show, Sunday, December 1st, called The Day After, I feel it is my duty as the King of WrestleCade, the main event every year, to enlighten you on a few things. Now I know there's a lot of talk in the wrestling business about greatness. There's a lot of discussion. People are fighting over who's the best in the world. They're arguing over who's a tribal chief, or who's the ringleader, or whose group is better. But let me make no mistake about it, what you are witnessing in AML wrestling is one of a kind. There has never been the dominance that you're seeing from myself. Now, I'm too humble of a guy to admit it, so I brought a few visual aids to help tell my story. February 29th, 2020. That was the day that AML Wrestling made the greatest decision of their lives and hired Brad Attitude for his first show. 1,733 days since then that I have been in AML Wrestling overall. Now, of course, after that first show, we had a bit of a hiccup, and there was a global pandemic. So knock off about 425 or so of those days in which we didn't have shows, and you will come to 1,308 days. Now you might be asking, what is that 784? Funny you should ask. That's the amount of time that I have been AML champion since my debut. Now, I don't expect you guys to do the math, but that's around, 59.6% of the entire time that I've been in AML wrestling, that I have been on the mountaintop. I mean, that kind of stuff just doesn't happen, guys. You need to be recognizing the glory and living in it. You know, some people say you don't know how good of the good times are until you're already through. Guys, we're living in the good times. We're living in the greatest time on earth. The Attitude Era of AML wrestling. 22 title defenses I've had. 10 of those being against former WWE talent that AML brought in to try to take my title. And ladies and gentlemen, the best, most impressive number of all of them. 1. Now I know what you're saying. It could be the one star. It could be there is only one. It could be the one guy who's the greatest AML champion of all time. But no. The number 1 stands for the amount of times that I've been pinned in a one-on-one match in AML. Guys, it's only happened once. Now think about that. Think about that kind of longevity and that kind of absolute dominance that I've had. One also stands for December 1st. And there's one guy that I have to face that day. And his name is Gustavo. Now you might be looking at all these numbers and wondering, who can knock Brad Attitude off the mountaintop? And you're right. You can't think of anybody off your head. If it's not Ryan Nemeth, if it's not Nick Nemeth, if it's not Matt Hardy, it's certainly not going to be Gustavo. Are you kidding me? Gustavo, the little guy that runs around with the roses in his mouth, dancing with all the girls? AML the day after. The biggest weekend of the year, WrestleCade weekend. I'm booked solid. I'm going to be shaking hands, making the money, drinking the beers, doing everything that I do. But one thing I will not be doing that weekend is losing my AML championship to Gustavo. I'll see you there, guys. Buckle up. It's going to be a wonderful time. But there will be a one-star classic at the end of that weekend. And that one star will be who he always is, me.